Katie Couric.
Oh, come on, it wasn't the front row, and you were sitting next to me.
Wearing a pink denim jacket.
Ooh.
Hot? Oh, yeah, it was really crazy.
It was, you said the bustier was in the cleaners.
That's right, so I couldn't wear that, my gold sequin bustier. But we had a good time. It was quite a spectacle, wasn't it?
I'm happy I went. There's no question about it.
Sort of embarrassing. Matt kept on leaning over and saying to me, "She's looking at me." And I said, "No, she's not."
Well, a couple of times, you know. I think it's like that Stinger thing on Ally McBeal. Hey, Stinger, you stared at me, didn't you? Anyway, she was something last night. She never stops, and she's got, what, 4 more shows here in New York City. We wish her the best with that.
Incredible stamina. I mean, she's such a great performer, so it was wild.
It was a lot of fun. Anyway, inside the studio, I think you've gathered by now, I'm Matt Lauer, along with Katie Couric and Ann Curry. And coming up in this half hour, with many families spread out throughout the country, it's not unusual for kids to be traveling alone. We're going to tell you the story of how one airline lost track of yet another child traveling without an adult. Now, this has a happy ending, but it's scary to think that this can actually happen.
We'll also tell you about some new, still unpublished research that finds evidence that stem cell therapy can indeed offer hope to people who suffer from Lou Gehrig's disease and other diseases as well. We'll have the details. And on a lighter or perhaps tighter note, everyone has a favorite pair of jeans. In just a little while, we're going to show you the best jeans for your body.
All right, and later on, what college female students really think about dating and mating. But first, let's go outside for a check of the weather from Mr. Roker.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Lauer. Now, this young lady, you're 58. You look fabulous. What's your name?
Thanks. Linda Hensley.
All right. And then she's 56 years younger today.
Yeah.
Well, what's her name? You're scaring your daughter, sir.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, see, look at... No, it's okay, sweetie. It's okay. Daddy's just a little excited. And is this your little brother? Or big brother, I should say. And everybody back there. All right. You're scaring... It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Let's take a look, and before she starts crying, let's take a look at your weather. See what's going on. The heat continues out west, Dallas. Oh, man, it's going to be about 97 in Alice, Texas. And, of course, the heat will continue for the next 2 weeks, unfortunately. And then for today, strong storms in the plains. We've got the wet weather here in the northeast. That will give way to cooler conditions. And what is this? This is the town that has the second largest name, longest name?
Webster, Massachusetts.
Well,
it's Webster Lake, and she will tell you the name.
It's Lake Shargagagog, Manshagagog, Shabungagungamog.
Oh, yeah! All right. That's what's going on around the country. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Good Thursday morning, mountains and Piedmont Triad. We like to call it Little Friday, the real deal coming in tomorrow. Mountain forecast today, look for more showers and storms redeveloping this afternoon. Average highs in the mountains near 77 degrees. Across the Piedmont Triad today, mainly cloudy with occasional showers and storms later on. You may get a passing shower from your cloud deck today with highs near 84, but a better chance this evening and tonight. And then as we look at the 5-day forecast, a continued threat of showers into Friday.
Got some friends here from Cleveland. What's your names?
Randy Saban.
Jill Saban.
Angela Carr.
Dave Carr.
All right, thanks for coming down, and thanks for donating to our auction. Okay, that's our latest. Now let's head back inside to Katie.
Okay, Al, thank you very much. A potential breakthrough in the search for a cure for Lou Gehrig's disease. In an unpublished study at Johns Hopkins University, researchers have restored motion to paralyzed mice by implanting stem cells in their spinal cords. The study was privately funded by Project ALS, an organization founded by Jennifer Estes and her sisters to find a cure for Lou Gehrig's disease when Jennifer was diagnosed with it 4 years ago.
There are 30,000 people living right now that are unable to move, and we don't see it. We don't want to look at it. And that's what I think has to change. I think we got to change that.
And it looks as if they have funded a study on stem cell therapy. The controversial human embryonic cells were implanted in paralyzed mice and grew into normal nerve cells. The promising results of the treatment give hope to people like Jennifer and her sisters, hope that a cure to this fatal disease can be found. Valerie Estes is Jennifer's sister and a founder of Project ALS, and Dr. Douglas Kerr is one of the researchers involved in the study. Good morning to both of you.
Hi, Katie.
Let me start with you if I could. Good morning, Dr. Kerr. Tell me a little bit about this experiment. I know that you gave these mice some kind of virus that would paralyze them in a way similar to patients who have ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease. Then tell me what you did.
What we did at that point is we used human cells and asked the question, can those cells restore function to some of these animals? And these are cells that have been really developed and characterized by Dr. John Gearhart here at Hopkins. And much to our surprise, some of the animals exhibited a motor recovery after 2.5 to 3 months following transplantation.
So it took 2.5 to 3 months for the stem cells to, I guess, bind or replace the damaged cells in this mouse, correct?
Well, we don't actually know why entirely the animals have recovered, and I should emphasize that though they have exhibited some recovery, they're still a long way from normal. They still really are weak, but it's still been a very exciting discovery, yes.
Are you suspecting, Dr. Kerr, that the movement will increase with time, or do you think this is the amount of recovery that they'll experience?
I'm certainly hopeful that as we learn more, we can enhance a functional recovery. Truthfully, at the current time, I think we've kind of reached a ceiling, and we have to understand better what's going on in order to further enhance that functional recovery.
How significant, Dr. Kerr, I mean, is this finding, or is this experiment, the results of this experiment?
Well, I think it's significant. I think it's very exciting. I should emphasize that the paper is in review at the current time, and so it really has to be validated by our peers. But it is a breakthrough in that it kind of hints at what the potential is. There's so much more that we have to do in terms of safety and other things, but it does hint at some promise.
Valerie, obviously this was something that was very exciting for you and Jennifer and Meredith, your other sister, and all the people involved with Project ALS. What was your reaction when you got the news that, hey, this was actually doing something in mice?
Well, pretty much it was a confirmation of what we've suspected for several years now. As some may know, Project ALS was the first organization to put together the world's leading stem cell biologists and ALS researchers. And we felt from the start of this odyssey that stem cells would pay dividends. But obviously when you learn that mice paralyzed with a virus which approximates ALS to some extent begin to walk, I mean, that's huge.
What was Jennifer's reaction to the development? Was she pleased?
She was psyched. I think she's ready for the next videotape, the human videotape, to come. So, but we have a lot of work cut out for us. Project ALS could really use the partnership of the federal government at this point. It just seems that diseases like ALS and the related problems of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's continue to declare war on America. And we need to really step it up immediately, not in incremental ways, but in a major way now.
Well, let me ask Dr. Kerr, how do you think that the findings of this experiment will contribute, Dr. Kerr, to the ongoing debate on Capitol Hill?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there are so complex issues, and I'm not sure how this would actually change it. It is exciting to hint at the possibility. I would say that, you know, private groups like Project ALS and the Center for ALS Research at Hopkins have really radically transformed our ability to carry out this research. I mean, if you know the Estes sisters and you know how aggressive they've pushed this, it has been really remarkable. In terms of the political ramifications, I think that's really complex, and I don't know yet.
But you know, you praise Project ALS and other private organizations, but Dr. Gearhart at Johns Hopkins has said that there's no way this research can truly go forward at any really significant pace if federal dollars are not involved.
That's absolutely true. It creates not only a loss of the actual dollars that would be otherwise spent, but the environment is poisoned if the government does not sanction this research, and it makes it very difficult to continue it in academic settings.
Valerie, you of course know of the concerns about embryonic stem cell research. Mm-hmm. Many people have a moral or philosophical problem with taking these embryos that could potentially be viable human beings at some point. Is there any kind of compromise that you can think of, or what would you say to some of those people if you had a chance to talk with them? I
would say on behalf of Project ALS that you have to sort of have a moral problem with millions of Americans dying from scourges like ALS, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and so on. But Project ALS has undertaken the study of all different kinds of stem cells, from the controversial embryonic cells right through to the adult cells. So time will tell which of these cells really would pay the biggest dividends to sick Americans.
But aren't embryonic sort of more flexible and,
yes, well,
seem to be more efficacious in this therapy?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the early research shows that these embryonic cells are more plastic and more versatile.
And before we go, Dr. Kerr, I just want to mention that sometimes experiments in mice, sadly, do not translate to people. Having said that, is there any way of predicting when human trials might take place?
I think it's very difficult to give a time frame, because I think it is so critical that we determine the safety of this approach, and we really don't know that. And until we do, and it is so important an issue to determine that anybody who would be enrolled in a clinical trial is not harmed by the treatment, that I think we're going to have to be very cautious, actually, about proceeding.
All right, Dr. Douglas Kerr and Valerie Estes, thank you both for talking with us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Katie, thanks.
Oh, thank you.
And still to come this morning on Today, the high school student who won a cross-country solar car race. And then later, we're going to dig up some tips for your garden. But first, these messages.
You strive for perfection in the kitchen. Wield highly precise instruments. Test things 500,000 times. Work with tolerances of less than 1/1000th of an inch. You could be making a Delta faucet. Precisely crafted and relentlessly refined, Delta faucets achieve perfection in the kitchen. Even if you can't. Delta, beautifully engineered.
For itch sufferers, relief is here. 12-hour Lanacane with antibacterial plus vitamins. Works all day or all night.
It stops itching plus kills germs.
Lanacane, itch relief that works all day, all night.
What is it you're seeking? Energy, vitality, a taste of pure exhilaration. Slim Fast with soy in 3 refreshing fruit flavors. Cool, crisp, soy protein, lactose-free, replenishes, revitalizes, helps give you the body you've always dreamed of. Slim Fast fruit flavors with soy, a cool, refreshing twist on losing weight.
I wish I could have an organic experience.
You've never had one?
I need intense conditioning.
New Herbal Essences Intensive Blends improves hair's condition up to 85%. New Herbal Essences Intensive Blends.
Wait, no,
What?
my purse is gone.
It's gotta be yours.
No, it's not here. Is my wallet in it? Is your wallet in it?
Waiter.
Oh, I can't believe it. It's gone. All our vacation money is in there. See it there? Our vacation is ruined.
Anyone could happen now.
It's a white purse. It's about like this.
White?
It's got a gold chain. All that cash. It was $700.
American Express travelers checks don't leave home without them.
Shouldn't your dressing taste as fresh as your salad? Come with us to the Valley, where the ranch dressing says fresh in every creamy bite. Come to the Valley, Hidden Valley, where the taste of ranch was born.
Life is just a bowl of cherries. Introducing Smucker's sugar-free preserves. All the taste with no sugar. So live and laugh at it all.
Recently, we told you the story of an airline that misplaced a little girl who was flying alone. Well, that same airline, America West, managed to do it again. NBC's George Lewis has the story.
An anxious father, Brian Sherrill, waiting at the San Diego airport. His 10-year-old son, Cody, traveling alone after visiting grandparents in Columbus, Ohio, failed to arrive when he was supposed to. And the airline, America West, can't find any trace of the boy.
I'm a pretty calm person. I mean, I'm shaking, and I don't know what's happening.
It's the second time this month that America West has misplaced someone's child.
I saw in your news last week that they put a girl on the wrong plane somewhere, and she like a all-day flight, and their parents didn't know where she was, on and on and on. And that went through my mind. Like, they've done it again. They don't know where my kid is.
The story of the little girl was first reported here on Today. 11-year-old Annalise Woods reunited with her dad in Detroit after airline personnel put her on the wrong flight and she went unaccounted for, crisscrossing the country for 18 hours.
What we're dealing with in these two instances is a breakdown in communications, and we'll be the first to admit that that's unacceptable.
The whole thing mystifies Cody's grandfather, who put him on the plane in Columbus in the first place.
I can track a package on some of these packaging companies simply by going to the internet with a tracking number and tell almost immediately where a package is, but yet we can't seem to find children.
Finally, 5.5 hours late, Cody showed up at the San Diego airport. Turns out his plane had a mechanical problem, so he was put on a flight to Phoenix with a connection to San Diego. But nobody bothered to tell his family.
It was just crazy. It just went on and on and on. No one knew anything.
And as for Cody,
I was frustrated, kind of angry.
And tired.
Yeah,
really tired.
Airlines in this country fly between 7 and 8 million unaccompanied children every year. The Department of Transportation says complaints about misplaced kids are extremely rare.
Make sure you stay till the flight actually departs. It's in the air.
Yep. The Air Travelers Association has some advice for parents. Don't let your children fly alone unless absolutely necessary. And if they do fly alone,
only send the child on nonstop flights. If you have to drive to another city to get a nonstop flight, do that. Try to avoid making connections in cities, because that's where you really run into trouble.
Cody's dad says the next time his son flies, it won't be on America West Airlines. For Today, George Lewis, NBC News, Los Angeles.
All of a sudden, losing your luggage doesn't seem so bad. We're back after these messages.
I have type 2 diabetes, and I will always take care of myself. I stick to my regimen. I had to make that commitment to diet and exercise.
But diet and exercise weren't enough.
So my doctor added Avandia to help control my blood sugar.
Unlike some diabetes medications, Avandia helps my body use the natural insulin it already makes.
Avandia has helped keep my blood sugar down for about a year now.
Avandia in combination with insulin may increase the risk of serious heart problems. Because of this, talk to your doctor before using Avandia and insulin together. Avandia may cause fluid retention or swelling, which could lead to or worsen heart failure. Avandia is not for everyone. If you have severe heart failure or active liver disease, Avandia is not recommended. Some people may experience weight gain with Avandia. To check for serious liver problems, blood tests should be conducted before and during Avandia therapy.
This commitment is for me, but it's also for my family.
Eat right, exercise, and if that's not enough, ask your doctor about Avandia.
So it may always be stronger than diabetes.
At Geico, we're always looking for faster ways to process your car insurance claims. One idea, airlifting claims adjusters right to the site of the accident. We're over the target.
I don't see the car.
It's that little black dot.
They're all little black dots.
Unlock. Oh, your laptop.
Geico Direct. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Before you plan a vacation or cruise anywhere, check out the cruise bargains at lowestfare.com. At lowestfare.com, our cruise value professionals and our special Cruise Finder website offer you more cruises to more places for less. Choose your special cruise vacation from the world's most popular cruise lines. 3-night cruises start at only $2.99 per person, double occupancy. For free information on cruise savings anywhere, contact Lowest Fare. Log on to lowestfare.com now.
Worlds of wonder can be found, where colors jiggle and joy abounds. It seems the day is looking up. There's magic in each Jell-O cup. Jell-O gelatin, make some magic.
Take AIM. Fight signs of aging.
New Revitalift Complete with Pro-Retinol A decreases the look of wrinkles. With Paralastol, increases firmness and moisturizes, all with SPF 18.
Fight them all.
With new Revitalift Complete from L'Oréal Paris.
For the last 2 weeks, high school students from the U.S., Puerto Rico, and Mexico competed in an 8-day cross-country race using solar cars. Well, we've got two of the folks here who competed in that. It took place. Lehman Marks is the event director of Green Mountain Energy's Winston Solar Challenge, and Chris Free is this year's winner. Chris, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Dr. Marks, let me ask you, first of all, what is this event? How long has this been going on?
Green Mountain Energy's Winston Solar Challenge gave us a chance to partner both with a corporation, education, to teach high school students how to build these kind of cars. We teach them, we show them how to do it with the mechanics, we help them provide the funds for this, and then we allow them a chance to race. Best science in the world. I'm an old science teacher.
Well, you mean you're a science teacher, you don't mean you're an old science teacher.
No, I'm getting old.
Okay, there you go. Well, Chris Free, you just won this. How did it feel to win?
It felt really well, sir. It's the first race we've won, because this is our second year in the Winston Solar Challenge.
Now, what went into, now this isn't the car that won, is it?
This one right here.
But what is this car here?
This car is the Winston Solar Car team. They themselves built this car.
Now, with solar energy, I mean, we're hearing so much. A day like today, I guess you don't really want to think about solar energy. But when you're driving a car like this on an 8-day race, do you have to worry about the weather?
Yes, you do, because if it's cloudy outside, you have to strategize on how fast you're going to drive the car, and also what terrain you're going to have.
Now, this isn't exactly a speed race, is it?
It's not really a speed race. It's more of just an endurance race.
Now, you had a team effort. Who helped you with this?
Well, our sponsor did, and our team members.
Let's take a look at this car. Let's walk over here. This is your car over here, and it says high voltage, so I guess we don't want to get... How much energy do these solar panels generate?
You're talking about 1,100 watts of power, and if you consider these little boxes with these hair dryers in it, it's about the same amount of energy. So the Winston School gives us a chance to teach them how to make best use of that. The Mississippi team from Houston, Mississippi has done an outstanding job. They were going on an average of over 40 miles an hour. It's what's called rolling resistance aerodynamics, but it's great stuff for the kids.
Now, our generation is used to, you know, fossil fuel cars. Chris, your generation, we're seeing more hybrid cars. Does that make you feel good about the future?
Yes, sir, because there's always hybrids running around, and we'll always know that technology is progressing. If we were just staying with fossil fuels, then there wouldn't be, technology like what you're seeing today.
Now, before, the race was on a closed track.
That's right.
This year it was on open road. What kind of looks did you get, Chris?
We got a lot of different looks, because the most common question was, where do you put the gas?
Now, but you didn't have to worry about gas. You just had to worry about a sunny day.
Yes, sir.
Now, did you have any cloudy days when you were driving?
We had 2 cloudy days.
And what happened?
We just kind of trekked it real slow.
You have to learn to conserve energy.
What we're showing here is 2 things. One, that kids can do great stuff with this, but also the value of alternative energy. Sure, there'll never be a total car run off of solar cells like this, but this, as a hybrid, solar with batteries, solar with gasoline, something along that line, but it's showing what kids can do too. We've got to do something to get more kids into engineering.
Right. Chris, what attracted you to this? What made you get into this?
Well, I had heard that Dr. Marks had been putting on this program and offering these races for high school students, and I thought that it'd be real interesting to get into. And I got some team members together and some friends of mine, and we all came together and we built the car.
Now, do you encourage your friends to do this?
I tell everybody about this thing.
We've taught more than 800 schools in 20 countries how to do this.
Well, it's back in the 70s, you remember when the energy crisis hit and we were hearing so much about solar energy and renewable power, and then it kind of seemed to die away. Do you think now we're going to see a resurgence in solar energy?
With all the activities that are going on in the country right now, we've got to find ways to stretch our fossil fuels out, and solar, wind, the kind of thing that Green Mountain Energy stands for gives us a chance to do that. We're very proud of this association because we're both doing the same thing.
Now, when you get what do you plan for next year, Chris? Are you going to enter again next year?
We're going to do the enclosed track race, Texas Motor Speedway.
A closed track race?
Yes, sir.
Now, will that allow you to get higher speeds up? Maybe,
It should be. I had heard that the Winston Solar team had gotten their car up to 70 miles an hour.
Wow. So you guys, before long, you're going to have a solar NASCAR.
Maybe. You never know.
You never know. Well, Dr. Lehman Marks, Chris Free, thanks for being here. And we'll have more of today after this. Stay with us.
You sure about this?
I want everyone to know who I love. How much is this again? 50. 50. 50. All I got is 41. Come on. I get it fixed, Donna. Very funny.
Next time, use the Visa check card instead of cash or checks. It'll get you in, out, and on with life.
Wow. Some instrument you got there.
Like it?
Yeah. So...
impressive?
Yeah. Must give you great joy.
You want to hold it? Could I? That's why they call it Dr. Grip.
Dr. Grip Gel from Pilot. Smooth writing, gel ink, and a big cushion barrel.
Ooh-ah!
Dr. Grip from Pilot. Think in ink.
When marimba rhythms start to play, dance with me, make me sway, like a lazy ocean hugs the shore. Hold me close, sway me more.
New Carefree Coolers Mint Splash. A cool, wet rush of flavor you can feel.
Yow! What's the worst thing about a paper cut? 2 days later, it's still stinging like the devil. How are you supposed to manage the family finances with a distraction like that? Your mom's in luck.
Band-Aid brand just introduced pain and itch relief bandages. A bandage with real pain relief ointment right on the pad.
So just like that, little pains and itches disappear.
New Band-Aid brand pain and itch relief bandages.
Band-Aid, the better healing brand.
Feminine itching, painful irritation. Now there's Vagisil cream with skin-soothing vitamins E, A, and D. Vagisil stops itching fast, and the relief lasts. Vagisil, a better understanding of better intimate care.
You're watching WXII TV, Winston-Salem, Greensboro, High Points. Now, from the station with complete local coverage of the Piedmont Triad, this is WXII News Channel 12 today.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Margaret Johnson. Austin's forecast is coming up. First, the news. Fire swept through a Forsyth County home. It happened a short time before midnight at a home on Blues Creek Road. When firefighters arrived, the home was engulfed in flames. Fortunately, no one got hurt. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. We now know what started Monday night's fire on top of City Hall in Winston-Salem. Fire investigators say construction crews were using a blowtorch to cut through some metal. And investigators believe sparks might have dropped into a bunch of trash. The fire started around 9:30 and it smoldered for several hours. The fire caused $30,000 worth of damage. Investigators say alcohol is to blame for an early morning tractor-trailer accident on Business 40. The big rig overturned around 3 o'clock this morning near the Highway 66 exit in Kernersville. Investigators charged the driver with driving under the influence. Fortunately, he was not hurt. The accident blocked traffic in the eastbound lane. Let's get your forecast now with Austin. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Margot. We got some welcome rain last night. We've had some clouds this morning, and now we have another front we're tracking off to our northwest, and that will have a line of showers and more storms as we go through later this evening and probably lasting into Friday as well. So great news there. We're going to add to the rain we already got in the last 24 hours. The next 24 hours, you can see the lane lining up right along this front here, and sure enough, as that continues to progress slowly south, we'll continue to have the air very moist and humid coming out of the southwest. So very good recipe to get more rain here over the next 24 to 36 hours. And the clouds are holding pretty true this morning. They're trying to break up a little and allow for some sun, but predominantly cloudy out there. Wouldn't expect much sun today, and I would expect the showers and the storms to redevelop by later on into this evening. And the 5-day forecast shows you the trend of things heading into tomorrow will continue the risk for showers and storms. Today's high will be near 84, Friday near 83. A bit of a northeast to east wind develops during the day tomorrow, and that will keep the clouds in probably into early Saturday. Maybe some showers into later on Friday and the early part of Saturday. Saturday may be the better day we've seen so far this week, getting up to about 86. And then more shower and storm chances as we go into Sunday. Sunday's highs near 86.
On the next Live with Regis and Kelly.
Talking monkeys can't exist.
Talk about animal magnetism. From Planet of the Apes, Mark Wahlberg. Plus, from Ripley's Believe It or Not, Dean Cain. On Live.
Today at 5 on WXII News Channel 12. If you think it's too late to start saving for retirement, think again. Find out how to save now so you can enjoy those golden years. Today at 5 on WXII News Channel 12.
Too night, you think you know what you're feeding your family. The package says strawberries and oatmeal, but guess what? No strawberries. And that's not the only example. NBC Nightly News tonight.
We're back with the final half hour today on this Thursday morning, the 26th day of July, the year 2001. And of course, we're waiting for the big build-up as we look at our loyal audience out on the plaza, a very wet plaza this morning. We're listening, of course, to Neil Diamond, who will take part in our summer concert series tomorrow when he performs for us out in the plaza. And just a little bit of trivia. Keep playing, you guys, on Mr. Diamond. Did you know he went to NYU on a fencing scholarship and was a pre-med major? I was trying to stretch it until the Sweet Caroline thing comes on before he left to become a big singing sensation. Wow. And he was inspired by Pete Seeger, who came to his camp in the summer here in the New York area.
Okay, hit it! Oh, boy. Now, we went a minute and 40 seconds without getting to Sweet Caroline there. You had no idea that the prelude to that song was quite so long.
I didn't. I'm so sorry.
Our producer, Jonathan's going, come on, roll it, jeez!
I am sorry. It was all queued up to the Sweet Caroline, and I sort of like the little riff at the beginning.
When you're home alone, it works real well. To open a half hour.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm never going to be replacing Casey Kasem. What can I say? Anyway.
Keep your head on the side and keep reaching for the stars.
That's right.
Okay.
Here's a long-distance dedication. Anyway, Ann, coming up in this half hour, you're very busy.
That's right. If we have any time left in the half hour, I am.
Whoa! Thank you, sir. May I have another?
We're actually going to meet...
People think you're so sweet.
I know I am, though I am. We're going to meet the co-author of a groundbreaking study on of college women and their views on sex and dating. It's the first study of its kind in more than a generation, and it has some pretty surprising findings. We're going to talk about that. And a little bit later on, we're going to be talking about ground covers with Rebecca Cole.
All right.
Things you can plant.
In the garden.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Make things
good.
Yeah. You know, it's been nice. Ann's sister Jean is here, and she sees another side of her now.
That's right. We're also going to talk about jeans, how to find the best jeans to fit your body. We've got Glamour Magazine here. Well, not the magazine. We actually have the editor of Glamour Magazine to tell us the do's and don'ts of finding jeans. Anyway, before we get to all those fun things, we've got a final check of the weather.
Yes, I do. Let's see what's going on out there. Show you that we do have strong storms in the plains, northern plains especially. Wet weather here in the northeast will give way to some cooler air. 102 in Phoenix today. Thunderstorms down in southern Florida with a high of 89 in Miami. Beautiful in Seattle. Sunshine and 75. That's what's going on around the country. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Good Thursday morning, mountains and Piedmont Triad. We like to call it Little Friday. The real deal coming in tomorrow. Mountain forecast today, look for more showers and storms redeveloping this afternoon. Average highs in the mountains near 77 degrees. Across the Piedmont Triad today, mainly cloudy with occasional showers and storms later on. You may get a passing shower from your cloud deck today with highs near 84, but a better chance this evening and tonight. And then as we look at the 5-day forecast, a continued threat of showers into Friday.
That's your latest weather. Now here's Katie.
Thank you, Al. Up next, college women in the dating game. But first, these messages.
One day I'd like to sell my clothing in more than one country.
It's all about my business and my family, my kids.
I love them beyond anything.
Protect your family and all you've worked for with life insurance from a name you trust, GE.
One day I'd like to be surprised, but be ready.
Invest, protect, retire with a name you trust, GE for life.
There's something warm and fragrant about scented oils, which is what makes Glade Plug-in Scented Oils so special. It's a home fragrance that taps into the precious qualities of oil. And now it works in any outlet and leaves one outlet free for 60 days of pure, rich freshness. Plug into Glade Scented Oil.
Plug it in.
S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Ooh. Dear gentle-minded consumer. Ooh. I've taken up the natural life. I'm new Cottonelle toilet paper with aloe and E. I've got a silky, gentle touch you can actually feel. So the next time nature calls, try new Gentle Me.
I'll make you cheerier with a gentle touch on your posterior. Sincerely, New Cottonelle with aloe and E.
Hospitality is being able to make guests feel at ease, and you can't teach that.
I'm CEO of my company. I'm also the sales manager, secretary, and mail clerk.
Business travelers are always on the move, and sometimes things don't go as planned.
Especially when you forget your plane tickets. And this was one meeting I just couldn't miss.
When people send you thank you cards, you know you're doing something right. Relax at Travelodge.
You want the very best for your best friends. Proper nutrition, regular exercise. And when it comes to monthly heartworm, you can forget it. Now there's Pro Heart 6. Just one dose from your veterinarian protects against heartworm disease for 6 months. Used with caution in sick, debilitated, or underweight animals. Side effects may include mild swelling or itching at the injection site. Forget monthly heartworm. Remember Pro Heart 6, the 6-month preventative, only from your veterinarian.
Wait a minute, not on colors.
But look at this stain.
You need Clorox too.
That's me. What Clorox bleach does for whites, I do for colors. Cool. Thanks.
That's my Clorox too.
Clorox 2, the Clorox bleach for colors.
Roundup. It will be your greatest enemy when you take over the weed family.
Me? Leave the family?
New Roundup is stronger, faster. It kills to the root.
So when I take over, we'll all be dead?
New Roundup. No root, no weed, no problem.
This morning on Today's Woman, a groundbreaking study on how college women feel about sex, dating, and marriage. It is the first in-depth report on this topic in more than a generation, and it's called Hooking Up, Hanging Out, and Hoping for Mr. Right, College Women on Mating and Dating Today. Elizabeth Marquardt co-authored the study for the Institute of American Values. Elizabeth, good morning.
Good morning.
You conducted essentially a structured telephone survey of about 1,000 women.
Right.
These women had to be undergraduates, heterosexual, and unmarried.
Right.
What did you want to know?
We wanted to know, first of all, how do young people today find and meet one another and ultimately marry if that is indeed their goal? And so we went out to talk to these women and see what their goals were with regard to sex, love, commitment, and marriage.
And you are reporting your findings for the first time
That's
this
right.
morning.
We're releasing the study today.
What did you find out?
Well, we found a surprising picture. On the one hand, today's college women have surprisingly high aspirations for marriage. We have found that 83% agree that being married is a very important goal for them, and a surprising 63% agree that they would like to meet their future husband at college. At the same time, the social scene on their campuses does not seem to support the goals that they say that they have for their lives. Relationships seem to be characterized by too little commitment, called hooking up, or too much commitment, these joined at the hip relationships.
Okay, so let's define these two. Let's take them one
Sure.
by one. Let's talk about hooking up. Hooking up
Right.
really can be defined in many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
How are you defining it for the purposes of the study?
Well, the way the women themselves defined it, 3/4 agreed that a hookup is when a guy and a girl get together for a physical encounter and don't necessarily expect something further. And then
We're talking about casual sex.
Yes, but let me say, hooking up can mean anything from kissing to having sex.
Mhm.
Sometimes it can be anything short of sex, sometimes it's sex.
And women can use this term to be not very specific about what has happened.
It's conveniently ambiguous.
Okay, and you found basically that 40% of young women in your survey say that they have experienced a hookup.
That's right.
And 1 in 10 say they've hooked up more than
6 times.
Really?
Yes.
So, and what do you make of that? That says basically there are a lot more women, young people today, who are having casual physical relationships with each other.
It's not so much that we're saying that they're having casual sex, because casual sex has obviously been around for quite some time. But we are saying there's a distinctive phenomenon in hooking up where it's not just casual sex, but it's sex without any expectation of affection or commitment.
In other words, I've hooked up with you, but I don't know if I'm going to get a call from you tomorrow.
It's not even that I'm not going to get a call from you, but if I see you in the library, I probably will pretend that I don't see you.
Really?
Yeah.
So what about this traditional form of dating that most of us who are, sort of 30 and over can sort of talk about? I mean, do you find that on the campus
It's really
still
quite
existing?
declined. 50% of college women said they had been on 6 traditional dates or fewer in college.
As in, I'm taking you to dinner, taking you to a
I'd like
movie.
to ask you out, take you to dinner, I'll pay for it, etc.
Instead, you have something quite else. In addition to hooking up, you also have hanging out.
Right.
And what you said earlier was joined at the hip. Let's take those one
Right.
by one. What's hanging out?
Hanging out, well, let me back up for just a second. When we say dating, it can mean many things, and the two things it most often means is either hanging out, or joining at the hip.
This is the new dating.
Right.
Right.
So the new dating is usually hanging out. A guy won't ask a girl to go to a movie with him and pay for it. Instead, he'll say, let's hang out, study, watch TV together, come to my room.
And this could be with other
in groups or individually, and women or men might suggest hanging out. So it's loosely structured, undefined time that young men and women spend together without indicating any interest in one another.
Okay, joined at the hip, however, does indicate an interest in one another.
This is just interest to the hilt. This is men and women within days or weeks of meeting each other.
Days or weeks of meeting each other?
Very rapidly establish an intense commitment that's not only sexually active, but spending the night together almost every night or every night in their dorms or apartments, studying together, doing laundry together, meals, etc., joined at the hip. Spending all their time together.
And to be more specific about the disparity between these kinds of behaviors and expectations of marriage, we have a graphic that basically says that 63% of these women that you surveyed hope to find their future husband in college.
Right.
Most agree that being married was a very important goal,
right.
and most expect that their marriage would last a lifetime.
Right.
But interestingly enough, how women decide to have a relationship is to some degree dependent upon whether they came from a divorced family. What did you find?
In some
there?
ways, yes. We found a number of differences in the women in our study who came from divorced families. They were more eager to marry and hoped to marry sooner in life, but were less certain that their marriages would last if they did marry. They were less likely to say their parents had told them to save sex for marriage, and they were less likely to say they had clear expectations when it came to relationships with guys. Most importantly, if they did hook up, they were more likely to do so more often. 37% of the women from divorced families in our study had hooked up more than 6 times, compared to 23% of women from intact families in our study.
Very important information, Elizabeth Marquardt, for parents and educators. Thank you so much this morning. All right, if you'd like to read more about this study, you can check it out on our website at today.msnbc.com. Up next, it's all about blue jeans, but first, this is Today on NBC.
Hey.
Why are you eating my Cheerios?
They help lower Daddy's cholesterol.